when people try to teach us lessons in life, we may not really understand it until we have gone through it on our own. For example, say the catchphrase, choose a job that you like so that you don't have to work a day in your life. It's indeed easier said than done. The question remains of where and how to find such a job. Now, the catchphrase easier said than done sometimes really deter us from trying at all. But when we come to think of it, why not? Why not give it a go? Well, just for the reason easier said than done, it may be a good enough reason to give it a go and dive right in and do it. Many things achieved in this world, they really comes out from action and not ideas. When ideas without action are just like castles in the air. Our famous friend, Bill Gates, let us move our camera back in 1973. When he was first graduated from Lakeside School, a school in Seattle, he never realized that 12 months later, he would start a company of his own. You know why? Because in the autumn of 1973, he enrolled in Harvard College, and he was admitted. But in the summer of 1974, on seeing the opportunity to start his own company, he left Harvard. Jack Ma, he started off, I think one of the speakers earlier on also mentioned that, he was a school teacher in Hangzhou. He taught English. Good that he teach English. Then he came to know there is such thing as internet. Now, you got to remember, the dial-up modem at that point in time was 28.8K. If you try to download HKUST's website with a dial-up modem at the speed of 28.8, it might probably take 10 hours. But Jack Ma, when he first encountered internet, he realized that internet could be something that make China sourcing an easy task for overseas importers. He didn't give it a second thought. He dived right in. He and his wife, that point in time, they had $20,000. And he started the first internet to facilitate sourcing from China. Hence, Alibaba.com was born. After the first round funding by SoftBank and Goldman Sachs, well, the rest is history. Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, once said, ideas are a dime a dozen. People who implement them are priceless. Which is so true. There are lots of brilliant ideas on earth, but without someone who has the passion and enthusiasm to implement them, they are nothing. So the implementer are priceless. And Bruce Lee, a Kung Fu star and a philosopher, he rightfully put it in two simple sentences. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. To think well and act right, again, is another catchphrase that is easier said than done. To think well and act right is just like we are wearing sunglasses. Objects change color when we change the color of the lens. Well, a positive thinker, in a way, is a person wearing color lenses. For instance, say, we are holding TED Talk here today on Saturday, and then all of a sudden it's typhoon signal number 10. So, and then the organizer might think that, well, lucky, it's mere rain and typhoon, not too bad. And we can still hold the talk here in this auditorium. So it doesn't affect much, except fewer attendees, that's all. So, positive thinker. Now, to me, a positive thinker is one who don't want or does not want to face real life. Now, at this juncture, I would like to quote you a Chinese story. Once upon a time, there was an old farmer in northern China. One day, one of his horses ran away and was seen no more. Now, mind you then, the horse was the family's important asset, like a BMW 751 today. And then the villagers came to condole the old farmer, said, don't worry, it's not too bad. The horse ran away. It's not the end of the world. And the old farmer replied, well, we'll see. And the next day, the horse that ran away came back and brought another stallion together. And then all the villagers came to him and saying, congratulations, old man. You lucky guy. What a fortunate man. Now you got 2 horses. And then the old farmer said, we'll see. And the next day, the farmer's son went out riding this stallion. But accidentally, he fell off from horseback and broke his leg. And this time, all the villagers came to condole the old man, saying, don't worry, he will get well soon. Just a leg, he still lives. Not too bad, isn't it? And then the old farmer replied, we'll see. And 3 days later, the army came to draft new recruits. With a broken leg, the farmer's son was exempted from military services. And all other young villagers were drafted. And the villagers came to congratulate the old man, saying, we told you so. Isn't that broken leg a blessing in disguise to you? Now your son doesn't have to fight at wars. He doesn't have to risk his life. Well, the story ended here. And this was one of the famous Chinese Aesop. It says, Sai Wong lost his horse, but it all turned out for the best. Now, today, I wish to continue the story with the following epilogue. So true, the young men all went to war. They fight courageous at war. Finally, they won the battle. All returned home. They are once peasant boys, but were all now national heroes. They were decorated for exemplary services at the military. And what happened to Sai Wong's poor son? He remained as a poor peasant with a broken leg. Now, this story, I would like to come to another things that we always look at, the difference between ability and knowledge. The famous Japanese writer, Haruki Murakami, he said that ability and knowledge are tools, nothing to show off. And the 17th century English philosopher, John Locke, also said that the newborns The brain of a newborn is like that of a tabula rasa, a blank slate. There's nothing in it. Knowledge are all founded in empirical experience. We learn. Now, for instance, let's say, when someone tries to teach you to ride a bike, if he throws you piles of books, do you think you can ride a bike after reading all the books in library? No, you can't. To ride a bike, you have to go through all the pains. Someone teach you about action and reaction, inertia, aerodynamics, and tire suspensions, etc. You still can't ride a bike. You have to go through all the painstaking moments until finally you are firm in the saddle. And with unyielding efforts, at the end of the day, you'll find yourself a rider in La Tour de France. Now, doer and thinkers are two different entities. They are separate entities. When you ask a doer to jump, his response will be, how high? When you ask a thinker to jump, he might say, is there a reason to jump? What is the purpose to jump? Why do I need to jump? When you ask a doer to get from point A to B, he will find the shortest distance to execute the journey, while the thinker might query why there is a journey in the first instance. Now, I remember in my office back in 1993, when we tried to update a story on China's foreign trade systems, I proposed to invite Wu Yi, the then Minister of Foreign Trade, to write us an article, to contribute an article. At that point in time, one reporter said, why? Wu Yi? To invite her to write an article? Well, if it is not mission impossible, it might be mission improbable. Having heard that, I noticed what he said. I went back to my office. I wrote a letter to Wu Yi requesting her to contribute an article to update our readers on China's foreign trade systems. You know what happened? In less than 2 weeks, I received a letter, a reply from Wu Yi, and together with a 3-page article titled 1994, A Year of Deepening Reform of China's Foreign Trade System. Well, here the doer wins. The thinker still thinking right. And I would like to quote you one saying from Confucius. And just now, as I was talking to Oliver, I was wondering why Confucius, in those good old days, he had so much words to form so much brilliant ideas. Because Wittgenstein once said, my thoughts are limited by my vocabularies. Now, what did he say? He said, when the archer misses the center of the target, he turns around and seeks for the causes of his failure in himself. So, his advice was that the target doesn't move. The target is always there. When you miss the bullseye, don't blame the target. Try to refine your aiming and technique. And Li Ka-shing, in one of his press interviews, he said it distinctly and clearly. I wasn't lucky. I worked hard to achieve the goals I set for myself. So, friends, goal setting is very important. Well, my story won't be long. As a matter of fact, it's rather short. Before I close, I would recommend you to read a book by Sir Richard Branson. And if you don't have time to read, don't bother. Because all that he wanted to tell you, he said it on the cover. Good day, good luck, and thank you.